Peace and love, family. It's SOLJA C back with another episode. Streets is watching. Our topic today is going to be about Nick Cannon, who just recently fired from his job at CBS. Every time one speaks the truth about the Jews, why we call anti-Semitic. If I robbed a bank and I'm caught and it was me, I mean, what's the big discrepancy? Only thing I could do is try to fight it in court. You know what I'm saying? So my thing is this: if I robbed a bank and got away and somebody seen me and they pull the covers off of me, then I'm gonna be salty because someone exposed my wrongdoings. Same way with the Jews. They try to hide every segment of their crimes, and they hide behind Judaism and the ADL, saying someone hates them for pointing out the hate that they possess, the crime that they possess. But every time one speaks out against them, why are we called anti-Semitic for the things they done? Yes, they participated in the slave trade. This is the reason why the Jewish world got a discrepancy with the Honorable Louis Farrakhan, because he pulls the covers off the wicket. That's why Farrakhan can never be a sellout when the killers of this world and the rulers of this world really hate him. He exposed the Illuminati years ago, before we even had this platform that we speaking from today. The Nation of Islam have a book out called The Secret Relationship between blacks and Jews, and they did a deep historical check. What I mean by that, they went back and proved that the Jews participated in the slave trade. Hell, you can look that up. In 1555, there was a man named John Hawkins who was born in England. Queen Elizabeth I financed his expedition to go to Africa and sell slaves in Europe and America. This is the Switzers. This is the queen and to be on TV, her bloodline. The queen to be on Entertainment Tonight with the grandsons, Prince Williams. Prince Henry. The so-called dukes. They got so many surnames. I even used to call them the Rothschilds, but I was gravely wrong, so I want to correct that. Because on one of my videos, I called them the Rothschilds because the Jewish community, if you study the infancy of those people, they practice a lot of incest. Did you know that Hitler was a Rothschild? Whoa. You didn't know that, did you? Do your research. Hitler was a Rothschild. So all these secrecies that these Jewish people try to hide, and when you pull the covers off of them, you're anti-Semitic. It's proven fact that Hitler money to finance his war against the world was backed by the Rothschilds, backed by George Bush's great-grandfather. His father's father loaned money to Hitler to finance his war against the world. See, these people believe in destruction. They would kill each other to rule certain parts or region of the world. Like I told you people, the Dutch and Great Britain fought to annex Africa, South Africa. I believe that was year 1793, where the Dutch and the British had a big old fight about South Africa. Until they came to some agreement, all the European countries got together, or the European little nations got together, which was France, Germany, Great Britain. All of them got together to carve up Africa. The Jews hide behind a religion called Judaism, which is really a satanic cult. And they don't want you to know that they believe in satanic rituals. A satanic god called the Baphomet. The Illuminati. The Rockefellers. The Rothschilds. The Switzers. And they got so many surnames, you don't know these surnames, they can fool you. Like you might have a slave master with the last name Green, but he took the Berg off to hide his doings, the Jews in the slave trade. Follow the money. That's all you gotta do when you study Jewish people, follow the money. And every time you pull the covers off the wickedness of these people, they get upset and call you anti-Semitic. How can a black man be anti-Semitic? I'm anti-Semitic because I point out the evil that you've done up on my people. Because I point the finger at you. You run these record companies. You run the entertainment business worldwide. You run everything, ABC, NBC, CBS. We got to hear your narration of everything. Watered down. It's always lies that the Jews stand behind. And I'm not talking about poor Jews. I'm talking about Jews who run the world. I'm talking about Jews that's in power. It's funny that the Jews are the ones that run everything. Everything satanic they got their hand in. Where's our children at? Who is responsible for the many children that's coming up missing in these cities around the world? Who drink kids' blood? Who sacrifice kids? Who is Aleister Crowley? See, we can go on and on and on and on in our research and find the Jews' hands in the cookie jar of every criminal activity on the face of the planet. Did you know the Jews created the slave cuffs and the slave ankles and the slave brace on the neck? Yeah. They made money in that. Don't you know the Jews run the fucking judicial system that we live up under today? That's why they call it the judicial system. The judicial system. Judicial system. So when you be going to court and you get this unjust sentences and these deals they give you, I mean, either I'm guilty or I'm innocent. Why you gotta come at me with a deal? You know I'm innocent, but you tell me if I plead guilty to this, I can get this less time. But if I take it to the box and be judged by 12, you give me a harsher sentence, all because I took my case to trial. And you didn't want to go to trial spending the money. You so greedy. And you make sure I get found guilty by 12 people who is not my peers. Who are not my peers. Every time you deal with Jews, it's something where you got to get beat and they get the upper hand. Yeah, they participated in the slave trade. For all you people who believe that these white people who came from Europe and then in the 1940s take Israel away from the Palestinians, and you telling me that God ordained these white people who say them Jews, but they're not Jews, because we know who the real Jews is, who the real people are, the real chosen people of God. But anyway, so you telling me in 1943, whenever these people come up out of Europe and annex what they call Israel, and this is their land. Here's a people supposed to be holy, but they kill black people in their country. They don't want black people in Israel. When black people was the first people in Israel before the Roman Greco invasion of what they call Israel. That's really Africa for you people who didn't know. But they don't want you to know. And as soon as you pull the covers to who the real owners of that land is, you're anti-Semitic. I'm anti-Semitic because I told the truth that Israel is really part of Africa. Before the Palestinians got in Israel today, that was a black populated land. So if this Jesus character exists 2,000 years ago, there's no way it could be white. Come on, man. Wake up. Back to Nick Cannon. I don't know if it was the right timing to speak on that certain situation, knowing that you got these people who troll YouTube. Jewish people troll to try to find out who's woke because they're afraid of losing this world. Don't you think? They know the scripture. They know that the chosen people are black people. Even Hitler said that. See, people say you're anti-Semitic when Hitler himself is a Rothschild. Low key. Nobody wants you to know that. Hitler's father was a Rothschild. His mother Hitler's grandmother had sex with a Rothschild when she used to work inside of his mansion. And when she got pregnant, he kicked her out. That's the truth. These are the secrets that they don't want you to know. They the ones that started this Masonic fraternity. When they went over to Egypt, the Romans and the Greeks, and when the Jews visit Egypt, they was mind blown. Their mind was blown because they found out that the original people are gods. And they simply gave you a fake narration that they built their pyramids. They built pyramids because their ancestors 2,000 years ago, or 4,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, not 2,000 years ago, 4,000 years ago, was in Egypt under servitude of Pharaoh, and Pharaoh made them build pyramids. But we blew that out the water because Abraham was supposed to be the father of these people. of these Jewish people. Abraham's supposed to be the father. But the pyramids was up 20,000 years before Abraham even came in existence. So that throws that out the window. So every time somebody pull the covers on Jewish people, you're going to be called anti-Semitic. These record labels, they would kill you. Sony, they would kill black people. Believe it or not, you get into these little record deals, or you're a mega star, and they want to sacrifice you for some apparent reason, you're a goner, Jack. When you sign your name on that line, you know what I'm saying, for them to push your music or push your acting career to a certain level, you get up there making that Jay-Z money, you gotta sell out. You gotta do something for them. You know? These are the same people killed Prince. Whether you believe it or not, you call me conspiracy theorists. These are the same people killed Tupac and Shakur. Same people that killed Nipsey Hussle. So these Jews, they know this about genetic survival. Going back to Nick Cannon, what they're talking about genetics. They know that our melanin is capable of wiping this planet out of any other race. This is why they control us, keep us in jail, keep us sick, giving us medication that they know is going to kill us, poison our water, poison our air. You can look up right now. Chemtrails. What are chemtrails for? Bill Gates, Melinda Gates. But like I say, you know, in this video that's coming up right now, I'm going to show you why they mad at the Minister Farrakhan. And anybody that speaks out against Jewish people, this is what's happening. This is what happens. When you speak out against Jewish people, this is what happens. You get fired. You can't speak. Farrakhan is the most hated man in America by the Jewish community because he exposed them. So when you be hearing people from the conscious community and all these uneducated niggas talk about Farrakhan, most of the time they don't know what the hell they talking about. They going off hearsay because Jews pay certain Negroes to write books about certain individuals. And I bring up Farrakhan because that's the only black man in this country that been exposing these people for years. He the last one left. He the last one left from what I'm talking about, the 60s. Bobby Rush, the Black Panther Bobby Rush, he left, but he's so old now that he done got with this Democratic Party and lost his mind. He trying to act like we should get vaccinated by the people who's trying to kill us, the Jewish people who behind the COVID-19. Yes, Jewish people behind the COVID-19. What is lockstep? What is lockstep? I want you to look that up, lockstep. Rockefeller Foundation. Since everybody is hating on Jews, we anti-Semitic because we telling the truth about Jews, but we anti-Semitic. Look up lockstep, the Rockefeller Foundation, and you'll know who made COVID-19. Yes, COVID-19 was made in a laboratory here in America, then transported to Canada, then smuggled out of Canada into Wuhan, China. America got a track record of using biological engineered weapons against the populace. This is what lockstep is all about. You'll find Jewish people hand almost in everything on the planet. In fact, in everything on the planet. When the British first went to South Africa, way back in Shaka Zulu days, they was meeting defeat. Shaka Zulu was killing them up. 20,000, like it ain't nothing, you know, send them back dead, you know what I mean? You just gotta do your research, man, on these people, man. That's all I can tell you, man. Do your research on these people. You know, Jews are the sacred synagogue. I don't care if you call me anti-Semitic. It is what it is. Some people play, you know, different parts in this world. You know, it's like being on the big stage. We all got our part to play. And the Jews, and I'm not talking about all Jews, we talking about the powerful Jews. That they money, they got so much money, they don't even need it. You can't even count that money. We talking about people who run the world, who's behind the pharmaceutical, who's behind every major entertainment, it's football, basketball. All Jewish people own football teams. The Bible says when you got a wicked ruler running the world or a wicked king, the populace is very, very upset. Hey man, the streets watching. I'm gone.
Oh, let's go to what it really is then. When we talk about the power of melanated people, when we talk about who we really are as guys, and understanding that our melanin is so powerful and it connects us in a way that the reason why they fear black, the reason why they fear is because the lack that they have of it. So then when you see what Dr. Francis talked about is that fear and that
just genetic annihilation.
Deficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul. That we call it brother to be soul. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear, they're acting out of low self-esteem, out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is deep. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
fight or flight,
in order to survive. So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbarians because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, terrestrial environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality that they're coming out of Europe. They then said, in order for us to survive, we have to take what's not ours. And then they went to the land that actually where we are in. Instead of trying to make friends, they said, we want what you got. Because there's this mentality of whether it's the Caesars or even that we have.
This man, Zbigniew Brzezinski, was speaking before the British Council on Foreign Relations. And he was telling this group of elite called the Illuminati, we have lost control of the masses of the people. Listen to what he said. He said, for the first time Almost all of humanity is politically activated, politically conscious, and politically interactive. There are only a few pockets of humanity left in the remotest corners of the world that are not politically alert and engaged with the political turmoil and stirrings that are so widespread today around the earth. They're upset because Satan is losing control. Listen to what he said. In earlier times, it was easier to control 1 million people than physically to kill 1 million people. He said, today, it is infinitely easier to kill 1 million people than to control 1 million people. It is easier to kill than to control. So what are they saying? They are planning the death of billions of human beings on our planet. Through the food, through the water, through the air, through disease. You have never thought that you would see the time that famine would be in America. But my beloved brothers and sisters, it is written in the scriptures that one day, you will look at your little fat babies with the thought of eating them. Stop for a moment. The trouble that's going on in Libya, in the Middle East, and now they're saying the price of oil is going up. By the way, Brother Baghdadi, you wrote a beautiful article that will be in the paper. Oh, I have a message for President Obama. Just hang on till I give him his assignment. Wait a minute. What kind of arrogance is that? Look, I wasn't voted into my office. Damn, if you didn't vote me in, you sure don't have no power to take me out. Now I want to ask you a question. How many of you in this audience would not mind being rejected of men? Who among you would not mind being hated and then rejoice about it? Who among you wouldn't mind being evil spoken of? And who among you would be willing to be cast into prison? And who among you is willing to give your life to see the people saved and free? I raise my hand to all of this. And I'm not just raising my hand. I have proved this to you. The things that I say and the things that I do, some of you are even afraid to think about it. You Negro. We put out the book, Secret Relationship Between Blacks and Jews. I sent it to every black leader, members of Congress, white leaders. I sent it to Obama. I sent it to his chief of staff, Rahm Emanuel. I sent it to Ben Bernanke. He sent it back. I sent it to Timothy Geithner, Larry Summers. I sent it to Abe Foxman and all the presidents of the Jewish organizations. president and to everybody that received the book. A couple of black college presidents wrote me a very short letter, but it was nice. We received the book. Thank you.
It's no secret that slavery was once a part of London's economy. At various sites along the Thames, goods produced by slaves would arrive by ship from around the globe, to be unloaded at one of the many piers or wharfs that lined both banks. Beyond the waterfront, the areas that now comprise London's modern financial district were also key to the industry. In the streets around the Bank of England, ships and insurance used in the slave trade were sold and bought.
Here at 12 St. Michael's Alley is the site of the Jamaica Coffee House. It's where slave owners came to advertise the sale of their slaves and to offer bounties for those who had escaped. It's one of the many sites dotted around the square mile of London that reminds us of the link the city has had with slavery and the profits that were made off its back.
And those links may soon become a bit clearer. University College London recently launched a new project titled The Legacy of British Slave Ownership. UCL aims to document the identity of every slave owner in Britain at the time of abolition. Professor Catherine Hall, who heads up the project, says that Britain's role in slavery is in need of a fresh perspective.
Instead of saying, on the one hand, oh, slavery wasn't significant at all to London's history, or on the other hand saying, the whole of British capitalist society is built on slavery, we want to say, what part did it play? It certainly played an important part, but what part?
Research for the database has already turned up some interesting connections. Documents kept at the National Archives in Kew have uncovered previously unknown links between N.M. Rothschild, of the famous banking family, and James William Freshfield, founder of Freshfields, the city law firm. The Rothschild family's chief archivist was surprised at the news, as the information was neither in the family's extensive archive, nor in the 2-volume history written on the family. Both Rothschilds and Freshfields were quick to point to the reformist elements of their predecessors' lives. Those behind the project think that shedding light on the past can only be a good thing.
I think we'll discover things that are uncomfortable for some people, but I think it's much better to be open about this history, and I think the experience of people when they are open about it is that you can deal with it. Things that are hidden are much more troublesome on the whole than things that are openly acknowledged.
Further east from the square mile, at London's Docklands, the links between global financial houses and the slave trade are merely geographical. Here at the Museum of London, a permanent exhibition stands as testament to the wharves and warehouses along the River Thames where goods produced by slaves across the empire would make their way to the capital. But with UCL's work just getting started, we may soon know more about the past and what the implications are for the present. I'm Carola Hoyos for the Financial Times.